People are trapped in a vertical prison and have only 2 minutes to eat before all the food falls to the lower level. The title of the movie is The Platform, and it will show you what truly hungry people are capable of. We are shown a luxurious kitchen. The chef thoroughly makes sure that all the dishes are perfect. Now, we are taken 48 levels down. The main character, Go-Rang, wakes up in a small concrete cell and meets his cellmate. This man's name is Trimagasi, and he tells Go-Rang about this strange place. The kitchen is located at the top of the tower. It's level 0. 2 people live on each floor. There is a shaft running through the whole tower. Every day, the cook prepares lots of dishes and puts them on the platform. It goes down to level 1. Then to level 2, and so forth to the bottom. The platform stops for exactly 2 minutes on each level. The inhabitants of the upper levels eat the best. Those at the bottom finish the leftovers. Trimagasi assures Go-Rang that level 48 isn't so bad. Go-Rang asks if there are many people below them. Trimagasi replies that soon there will be less. When Go-Rang tries to meet his neighbors, Trimagasi stops him. The ones below don't deserve your attention, and those who are higher won't even look at you. They'll stay here for a month. Then they'll be moved to a different level. Which one? Nobody knows. Here comes the most important moment. The platform descends and old Trimagasi begins to eat greedily. Go-Rang is disgusted by the leftovers. He takes an apple and stashes it in his pocket. As the platform begins to descend, Trimagasi spits on it. Go-Rang is shocked by this behavior, but the prisoners above do the same thing. Suddenly, it gets extremely hot on level 48. Trimagasi explains that saving food is forbidden. Whatever you can shove into your mouth in 2 minutes is yours. The leftovers go to the people below. If you break the rules, you'll get roasted. Go-Rang has to throw the apple down the shaft. We watch a flashback to the protagonist's interview. He is warned that he can only bring 1 item into the cell. The man takes a book about Don Quixote. We find out that Go-Rang joined the experiment voluntarily. He will stay here for 6 months and will be awarded with a valuable certificate. During the night, the empty platform rides up the shaft at breakneck speed. A new day is dawning. Go-Rang once again refuses to eat the leftovers. Being full, Trimagasi shares his story with the protagonist. The old man saw an advertisement and bought an expensive knife sharpener. Later, the same people started advertising self-sharpening knives. The old man got angry, grabbed the TV and threw it out of the window, right on the head of a random passerby. That's what Trimagasi was sent here for. The old man doesn't know how many floors there are, but there is definitely more than 132. Since he was on level 132. Unfortunately, the food doesn't reach there at all. That's strange. How did Trimagasi manage to survive? Go-Rang is shocked. Is there a way to ask people upstairs to eat less and leave more for the ones downstairs? Alas, the people above don't care about those below. Go-Rang discovers that his neighbor has that very self-sharpening knife. It's more useful than a book. A new day arrives. Trimagasi greedily devours the food. Go-Rang is very hungry, so he starts eating too. All of a sudden, a body falls down the shaft. Go-Rang is startled. Trimagasi, on the other hand, has witnessed something like this before. Go-Rang asks Trimagasi several questions. How did he survive on level 132? Where is his previous roommate? And last but not least, are these facts related to each other? At that moment, the platform arrives. There is a woman sitting on it. The old man says it's Miharu. She descends to the bottom every month in an attempt to find her child. What's more, she always gets rid of her cellmates, thus increasing her chance of ending up in one cell with her son. The girl is crazy, but Trimagasi is grateful to her. She's the only reason he survived. When he was on level 132, one of Miharu's victims fell there. That was enough to keep him alive. Therefore, the old man's cellmate is alive and well. He just served his time and got out. The platform with Miharu is descending. Suddenly, the unforeseen occurs. Looks like the inhabitants of level 49 terribly lack women's attention. Gorang swears and yells, but he can't do anything to help Miharu. However, he worried for nothing. A few seconds later, the girl returns to the platform. There are red stains on her face. She seems to know how to stand up for herself. After hearing Trimagasi's story, Gorang finally relaxes. He reads Don Quixote to the old man, and gradually they even become friends. The first month in the vertical prison comes to an end. The tower is filled with gas, and all the inhabitants fall asleep. Gorang comes to his senses on a new level. And it's a very unpleasant awakening. It turns out that Trimagasi woke up first and discovered they ended up on the level 171. Chaos is reigning all around. People who don't want to starve to death slowly jump down the shaft. Yet Trimagasi has a plan. He's tied up his neighbor, and now he's going to starve for a week. If someone else's body doesn't fall to them, he'll slice off pieces of Gorang. Trimagasi is going to feed them both. That way, they have a chance to survive. When the platform reaches level 171, there's not even a bone left on it. The days go by. Finally, Trimagasi's knife comes into play. At that moment, the platform comes down to them. Miharu is sitting on it. Remembering that Gorang was trying to protect her, the girl lounges at the old man. Gorang frees himself, grabs a knife and deals with Trimagasi. Miharu eats fresh raw meat and tries to feed Gorang. He will either eat this or lose his life. Seeing that Gorang is eating, Miharu leaves on the platform. Time passes by. While the chef on level 0 is squabbling over hair in one of the dishes, Gorang on level 171 is finishing off his cellmate. Trimagasi comes to the protagonist in his delirium. The month ends, and the tower is filled with gas again. Gorang wakes up. This time on level 33. His new neighbor is a girl named Imogiri. Instead of an item, she chose her beloved dog. Taking a walking sausage to a prison sounds like a silly idea, doesn't it? Gorang recalls that he has already met Imogiri before. She worked for the administration and conducted interviews. Imogiri calls this place the Vertical Self-Management Center. It is a social experiment. The tower has 200 levels. There is enough food on the platform to feed 400 people. If prisoners distributed the food properly, there'd be enough for all of them. However, human nature makes some people feast while the others starve to death. To change that, people must become kinder and share their food. That would mark the end of the experiment. The platform comes down. The woman arranges portions for the people below and begs them not to overeat. The prisoners laugh at her, but Imogiri doesn't give up hope. Every day she asks people to think not only for themselves but also about others. At some point, Gorang loses his temper and declares that if the downstairs neighbors don't start saving food, he'll pee on the platform every day. And not just pee. The threat works, but not for long. One day, Miharu comes down on the platform. She's feeling unwell, so Gorang decides to leave her in his cell. During the night, Gorang is awakened by a woman screaming. Apparently, Miharu has woken up and decided to have a snack. As a result, all that's left of Imogiri's dog is a red stain on the floor. Miharu leaves on the platform. Imogiri mourns for her pet. Gorang says that Miharu lost her mind after losing her child. Hold on, Imogiri personally interviewed Miharu. She doesn't have any children. There are no minors involved in the experiment. Miharu is an ordinary actress. However, Imogiri doesn't care about the experiment now. She's tired and frustrated. The woman shows Go-Rang the sores on her chest. It's cancer. She's come here to help people, but they don't need it. The poor woman is telling the truth. The best chefs in the country cook true masterpieces for them, but people behave like savages. One day, Go-Rang notices snails on the platform. It's his favorite dish, but Imogiri refuses to eat them. She is still grieving over the loss of her favorite dog. The month comes to an end. Go-Rang wakes up in a new place and sees that he has gotten to level 202. It's so bad that Imogiri decides to end her life. So, there are more than 200 levels. Therefore, there's still not enough food for everyone. Go-Rang is shocked. He sees hallucinations of his former cellmate. To dull the feeling of hunger, Go-Rang chews the pages of his book. Finally, he can't stand it anymore and does to Imogiri's body what he did to Trimagasi. Another month is over. Go-Rang wakes up on level 6. His new neighbor is an optimistic man named Bharat. The guy has a rope and is determined to get out of the tower. All that's left to do is to convince the upstairs neighbors to help. They agree, but when Bharat starts climbing up, a woman from level 5 relieves herself on his head. By some miracle, Bharat doesn't fall down the shaft. Unfortunately, his rope does. Bharat becomes hysterical. It was his only chance for escape. The food platform descends into their cell. There is a huge variety of food, but Bharat is not excited about it. He knows that everything will change in a month. The days pass. Go-Rang is still plagued by hallucinations. There's only 1 month left until the end of his imprisonment. But he doesn't want to leave. Now, this man is determined to break the system. Go-Rang offers Bharat to arm themselves and get on the platform. They will distribute the food so that everyone can get a meal. Go-Rang timed the movement of the platform and found out that the tower has 250 levels. The food is intended for 200 levels. People on the first 50 levels eat regularly, so they can starve this time. That way, the food will reach the bottom, and the experiment will be over. Bharat agrees. The protagonists break their beds and arm themselves with metal rods and start descending. They threaten the people on the first 50 floors and don't let them take a bite. On one of the levels, Bharat encounters a fellow elderly wise man. He listens to their plan and notices a problem. How will the administration know that the food has reached the last level? The sage advises them to choose the most exquisite dish and leave it on the platform. That way, the administration will know that the tower dwellers have won. The friends choose the panna cotta as a message and keep descending. People become more and more angry with each passing floor. They have to use the metal bars to protect the food. Starting on the 51st floor, Go-Rang and Bharat give people small portions. Thus, they should have enough supplies for everyone. And the panna cotta will remain intact. Upon reaching the 100th floor, Go-Rang sees Miharu. She is fighting with the inhabitants of the level. They are armed. Miharu doesn't stand a chance. Go-Rang and Bharat rush to her defense. They win, but get seriously wounded. The journey continues. The protagonists find only dead bodies instead of living people on many levels. The platform doesn't stop on those floors. Go-Rang realizes that he counted the time incorrectly, including the uninhabited floors. There are definitely more than 250. The platform rides lower and lower. The friends see crazy, naked, hungry, and injured people. Here comes the last level. And that's 333, which means there are 666 prisoners in the tower. Suddenly, Go-Rang notices a child under the bed. Could it be Miharu's? Well, no, it's a girl, and she doesn't look hungry. Where did she come from? The friends give the panna cotta to the baby. They decide to send the little girl who managed to survive in this hell upstairs as a symbol instead of the food. Bharat doesn't live to see the morning because of his wounds. After waiting for the platform to arrive, Gaurang gets on it with the girl and rides down. The platform floats in the air. It appears to be another of Gaurang's hallucinations. Finally, they reach the bottom. Trimagasi's ghost shows up and leads Gaurang away from the platform. The protagonist walks into the darkness, and the platform with the little girl rushes upwards.